present, and we'll stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, and there are no open forum items, so could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 7-0. And on to the committee reports, policy.
Nothing.
We sort of did it
Some-
with
yeah.
discussion via email,
Yeah, that way, but not a meeting.
right? And then Southwest Metro.
Southwest Metro had their first meeting of the new year last Tuesday, and there have been a few changes. One of our board members resigned, and we're going to be filling his spot soon with another pneumonia. We talked about the different programs that will be happening at Southwest Metro this year, and it looks like it'll be kind of a blend of different types of programs for the different age kids in the right now we use Scott County as our basis for deciding what far as programs are concerned. And then also we got some very good information about the possibility again of being able to buy the new facility in Dean Lakes in Shakopee. The person or the group that was trying to bid against us did not come up with the deadline for the money or for their financing, and so the ball's back in our court, and it looks very promising that we will be able to go ahead with this.
Good.
Good school year.
Good. CPAC? Okay, Community Ed?
No,
Wellness?
no.
Early Childhood? No. Fitness and Aquatic Center? Okay. And now we have update from Tony.
Yes, the first one is just got off the phone with Superintendent Dittburner, and he says hello to everyone. And just wanted you all to know that he's feeling pretty well. He wishes that he was healing faster, though, which I think we probably all that know Tim, he'll be saying that every day until he actually is better. But otherwise, he's in very good spirits, and Jane's taking very good care of him, and she's back at school today, so she's also very happy. The first thing, since our last board meeting on August 3rd, when Tim was here, it has been determined that the new Prague area schools will begin the first day of school on September 3rd in the hybrid model for all K-12 students. Our district incident command team made that decision in consultation with both LeSueur County and Scott County health officials and the 14-day infectious disease data provided to us, following the governor's executive order that places us in the hybrid for all, which is the 20 to 29 category. So I wanted to make you aware of that's where we will begin on September 3rd. In a little bit here, Maren Baller will come up and talk about our plans and document, and there's a nice little hybrid piece there that she can kind of show you, and we can answer any questions specific to that. But I just want to start out by letting everybody know that on August 17th, that's when we came out with our parents and letting them know that the hybrid model is where we would begin. Since then, things have been going very well. We have broken up with the AB model, And families, if needed any type of assistance or anything like that, have been contacting our principals, and they've been working with them as best as they possibly can. Getting some transportation down, that's a big thing also. So lots of communication, lots of collaboration, not only from our administrators, but also with the community folks and our parents. So that has gone actually quite well. Last week, we also welcomed 8 new teachers, 1 early childhood, 2 elementary teachers, 1 middle school, 2 psychologists, and our psychologists normally cover 1 or more buildings, 1 elementary special education teacher, and a half-time language arts teacher at the high school. So we had 3 full days with them. A number of our administrators and Julie Bowers, our mentor coordinator, spent a lot of time with all of those new teachers, and it was a very, very good welcoming week for them. Today is a big day. We had all of our licensed staff in schools for the very first time, and that helps us to bring back some normalcy. Even though a lot of the staff meetings, we were all spread out, and everybody had their masks on. The morale was very high. People were great to see each other. Our principals did a really nice job of welcoming everyone, answering questions, which we will be doing for the next 7 days or all of our workshop days. So it is not our welcome back program. This Thursday, we will not be having the big welcome back program like we normally do, where you're invited to take part in. We will not be out at the Trojan Field with our picnic. But we do have a few things up our sleeve to do virtually, and all of you will be getting a link on Wednesday letting you know where to go to kind of watch and participate in our Welcome Back program. I also like to take a moment to clarify some comments that Superintendent Dittburner made at the August 3rd meeting when he updated the board about our plans for the upcoming school year. When talking about distance learning last spring, Tim indicated that the bar was lowered. This comment was a reflection on the direction we received from the Department of Education to keep students engaged as the main goal, with advancing learning as a secondary goal, knowing that all families were dealing with a pandemic that had changed everyone's lives. Our district teachers worked very hard to implement something that had never been done before. Technology integration specialist Sean Brandt helped find appropriate tools and platforms for our teachers to be able to keep them as engaged as they possibly could. Our district staff did an excellent job. He also made a comment about students not having time to watch cartoons. This comment was an indication that families and students who choose distance learning this fall would be fully engaged with the rigor of in-person instruction and would not have as much free time as last spring. That concludes the superintendent's report. I also wanted to invite Brad Skogerbo tonight to again bring back some of our normalcy of the New Prague schools in the school year, and that's fall activities and athletics. So unless there's any questions to me on the superintendent's report, the next thing we would do is have Brad come up. Any questions for me?
Yes. Going back to the last meeting, Tim said that the reports were less than 1% of school districts reported 1 case in students aged 10 and under. That was where he got that information from. I don't know. I haven't been able to find it. But if that's the case, why are K through 6 not opening, or in our case, K through 5? Why is that not full-time?
Yeah, so we are following, of course, the guidance from the Department of Health and our local counties, which would be Scott and LeSueur. And our data brings us into the 20 to 29, which is hybrid for all. That shows the number of cases by county of residents in Minnesota.
Is that broken down by age at all?
Or 14 days. It is not broken down by age. That is not how they do that. Per 10,000 people by the date of specimen collection when that person was tested. So all of the consultation that we have with both county health officials put us kind of smack dab right in the middle, 25.18 at the time of the decision. And that, of course, is 20 to 29 is hybrid for all. We would need to get to 19 or below for our elementary to be in person full-time.
So when they said that the districts could open up at their discretion, they were just joking.
Well, we definitely are going to utilize the Department of Health and the county officials as, you know, this is what they do for a living, and we're definitely taking their guidance and making that determination. You know, we meet with, every Friday, we meet with Scott County superintendents. We meet with Scott County Health, LeSueur County Health, and I would say, and you can't, you know, you don't have to quote me on this, but I don't believe there is any Scott County school that is not following the guidance of the Scott County health officials. In fact, I'm quite certain they all are starting in hybrid.
The next meeting, it would be interesting if you could find out a breakdown of these cases by age. 'Cause again, when less than 1% is reporting one case in ages 10 and under, there's no reason, which are the kids who need it most, is a K through 6. They need full-time far more than middle school or high school. They can direct themselves. To not open up the elementary school at this point with those case numbers is a little bit irresponsible.
Yep.
Right. Correct. And there's also very limited cases where adults have passed it to children. It's always child to child or adult to adult, almost all the time. That's from CDC. I don't know what Minnesota Department of Health says, but that's from the CDC. They're still trying to figure out why that is. So is it a guideline? Is it a recommendation, or is it a requirement? So then we're not free to open at our discretion. I don't know, it's kind of a black and white question. Either we can or we can't. We can as long as they say we can.
Okay, I had a question. With our special ed kids that require one-on-one, are the paras going to be able to go out to the homes at all to work with those kids?
No, I don't believe that we would send paraprofessionals out to the homes. Amy Johnson, our Director of Special Services, works very closely with those families. And I know that she is continuing to, you know, individualize as much of their education as possible. And again, if parents, depends on if they're home distance learning or not. If they are home distance learning, they've probably made a decision based on their family and their facts as far as what it is that they would like to see as far as the education. But I don't believe anybody has requested anyone to come into their home. They will definitely, we have paraprofessionals who continually stay up with the kids if they are assigned to the kids. Just like in the distance learning, if Amy was here, I know that she would speak very highly to the work, not only of the teachers, but also the paraprofessionals last spring, in really staying connected with those kids as much as possible.
So there are a good number that are coming back to the school halftime.
Yeah, I don't have those numbers right in front of me as far as the special students on IEPs, but yes, we have a very large number of kids coming back, absolutely.
Tony, can you speak to, you quoted the number of 25.18 being the number. Is that just Scott County? Can you kind of speak to how what that number is at the zip code? Just how granular does that number get, and how close of it is it to New Prague or the district
Sure.
itself?
Yeah, and I'll give it a shot, and then Sandy and Jenny can step into. And as you can see in the back, we have Director of our Health Services, Jenny Schenecker, and Sandy and I really are the three that kind of probably look at the data the most, sit in a lot of the meetings, and follow the guidelines, and absolutely. So the 25.18 is the Scott County, which is the county that we have to follow. It says that we are to use the county that has the highest case data, and at this time that is Scott County. And at the time that we made that determination, which by law we had to let our parents know 2 weeks before school started where we would be starting. And as I said before, that 25.18 puts us smack dab right in the middle. And that is Scott County data. They can give you a pretty good breakdown. Zip code data, there is zip code data out there, but over the last few weeks, they have told us that can be, a piece of data if you start to triangulate a little bit, but that is not something that you want to just make your decision on. As Sandy was really trying to explain Leo's question, which is a good one, there is data out there that really does help and support the questions that Leo was asking, and whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, it gives us a direction of the direction that we want to go, that the Department of Health wants us to go, the Department of Education wants us to go, for the health and safety of not only our students, but our staff also. So that 25.18 is Scott County, and then we meet with LeSueur County, and they give us, again, very good data, and they can sometimes break up some things. If they know where there's a big outbreak at some time, they can let us know that, and that's what I think Sandy was kind of trying to explain here a little bit. As we get going and we get into the school year, I think you will see maybe some decisions that potentially could happen if we have a very good idea where some of the outbreaks might be. And if there's something that's more specific to Shakopee versus the New Prague, that's the reason why we have that consultation, because those people have that specific data, they have trend data, and all of that is to help us make a better decision for our students and staff.
Any other questions? Okay, so
That's definitely something every board meeting will continue to update. And a lot of the data is, of course, very public, but the consultation is priceless for us to help make good decisions for our school district.
we move on to the fall sports update.
Everyone?
Yeah, it's been a busy, fall season, as it has been for everybody. On August 4th, the State High School League, decided that, volleyball and football were not going to happen this fall. And they created what is, considered a fourth season, which is going to be between the winter season and the normal spring season. We're gonna put volleyball and football. So somewhere from March through the middle of May. And then the spring, our normal spring season will be moved from May through, could be July 15th. So in order to get everything in, or to theoretically give every athletic program a chance of having a season, that's what they felt was the best decision. So in doing so, we still have swim and dive, girls swim and dive. We have boys and girls soccer. We have boys and girls cross country, and we have girls tennis. So we had been creating plans for how we were gonna go through getting those things going. And then, in the meantime, the State High School League created practice seasons for the football and volleyball program. They can practice from September 14th through October 3rd. And then the spring sports that lost their season last spring, they are also creating a season for those spring sports to occur from October 5th through October 24th. The maximum number of practices for each of those programs is 12. The document I had sent you previous kind of just went through some of the concerns I had, Kevin Kleiner had as my assistant, and the coaches had some concerns just about the exertion by some of these kids that are going to still try and be involved in everything. And but it's something that our coaches are putting together a plan, and I've said the number one thing is we do not want to be pulling kids out of one sport, or where they think they feel obligated to be involved in something else, or to have to come to that practice. This fall's practice seasons are going to be completely voluntary. We're still going to have to go through the registration process and everything, because it is considered a season. However, the actual season where the games are going to occur is next spring, in that new fourth season that was created. So any questions with that?
How about from a user fee? I mean, is it gonna be, like the football season, for example, are they gonna be paying a user fee now and that covers them for the spring, or is there any user fees for kids?
Good question. That's something we haven't entirely talked about yet, but my recommendation would be that we just hold off until the spring season to charge them for their fee. Then we'll know what's actually going to be happening. I don't want anybody to feel obligated. And you attach a number to it, they're gonna feel obligated. And it's more or less just a chance for the coaches to get together with these kids and provide them an experience, and put a few things in, but a lot of it's just gonna be a, kind of a extension of the summer season. So with that, we've been working quite extensively on, the State High School League came up with specific sport guidelines for the ones that are occurring this fall. So we've put together a plan for all of the sports that are going to be happening. Swim and dive, the State High School League said there will be no fans in attendance. There's going to be limited number of parent workers. And so there's, got to figure it out, there can be 11 parent workers in there, so 11 at a time. So we're going to try to rotate them through in our 6 home meets, where at least everybody gets to attend one in person. Our visiting, when we go other places, it's the same thing. There's no no fans allowed in a swim and dive facility. So with boys and girls soccer, they've limited us to 250 people. So what I've done is we've created online ticketing for boys and girls soccer, where parents can go on. Then we know how many tickets we've actually sold. we're gonna have to, we do, an early and late game, either the boys play first or the girls, and then vice versa. So we're gonna have to clear the stadium after the first game, put 15 minutes on the clock, give everybody 15 minutes to get out, and then we'll open the gate again to allow the next group in. Again, it's just a way for us to be able to keep track of who's all there, how many people are there. That's why we decided to move to the online ticketing. It also is gonna help us, at all these, we're gonna create a sign-in area besides soccer, because we'll have that from the online ticketing, but we're gonna have people sign in when they show up. Should there be a positive case, then we'll be able to have the numbers or the contact information in case contact tracing has to be done. We have our first girls tennis match tomorrow night. The Minnesota State High School League guidelines said no fans inside the fence. And so what we've done, if you remember what our tennis facility looks like, we have those green plastic slats that go in between for wind barrier. So we have created 7 14-foot wide viewing areas where we pulled out those slats out of 14 feet, 7 sections. So we're gonna have 4 of them that are gonna have a bleacher area, and then the other 3 are going to be for people they can bring their lawn chairs or stand and watch or whatever. We're just trying to make this as good of a situation as we possibly can. Cross country, we found out we can't use the New Prague golf course this year, so I contracted Cedar Lake Farms. We've used them in the past, and our 2 coaches, Sean Brandt and Nick Meyer, have done a great job creating a path and everything. So we're gonna be out there for our 3 cross-country meets, and I feel good about that. Our first one for them is Thursday, and it's supposed to be, the heat index is gonna be through the roof, so it's, as of now, it's on Thursday. So, we either have to move it to a different date or maybe earlier in the morning, something to that extent. Want to thank, I know Jen's gonna come up here and talk too, but Jen and I have, she's done a great job of helping us. I know my coaches have been really appreciative of the help that she's given us with when somebody comes and they have symptoms or they have a positive case. She's been really easy to work with and does a great job. So we're really excited about that. And then we also, just to make you aware, we signed a contract with Prep Spotlight TV, which they do a lot of the, they're doing the amateur baseball tournament now. They did the senior salute tournament that our seniors from last year played in. So we they're gonna do 50 home events for us this year. And there's, I think, 5 of the 7 home soccer games are gonna be, they're gonna be streamed, and we've got 4 swim meets. So there's things that I wanted to be able to, those parents that can't get here, or grandparents or whatever, this will at least be a way. It's $5.99 per event to get the live stream, and I think it's gonna be well received. And I know I watched a few of the games on there, and it's very professionally done. So I think it'll be a step in the right direction for everybody, so.
Is there a fee for that?
For us, no, we actually get 25% of whatever the $5.99 fee is, we get back to the school district. And when we do get into, they're eventually gonna have yearly packages. They decided this year that, we're not quite sure how things are going, and I totally agree with them. So we're gonna have a yearly package where it would be like $49, but then it would be for every sport across the board. There's also gonna have a season package eventually, which would be like $25, and then you would have every, and I've gotten quite a few of the conference schools to do it as well. So not only are we gonna be seeing, our home events, but because the conference schools are doing it as well, we'll be able to get on there and watch a lot of the away events as well. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, our next item is return to school and employee preparedness plan.
Yeah, I'd just like to introduce that. I've asked both Jen Schenecker, Director of Health Services, and Maren Ballard, Director of Curriculum and Instruction. We have two documents that I know Janelle Sass provided you, and these are really our guidelines. These are the direction that we are moving and going for both our students and families, and that's the one Maren will talk about, the return to school. These are things that are mandated by the Department of Education, and lots of people have put a lot of time into these, again, for the safety and well-being of our students, our staff, and everyone involved. And then Jen will talk about the employee preparedness plan, and again, making certain that all of the employees know exactly where to go and where to find information, both of these for COVID-19. So they'll just kind of skim some of the top portions, and if you have some questions, then you definitely can ask them.
All right, good evening. So this document has been shared with our families twice through letters that Superintendent Dittberner has sent out. In addition, it is posted on our website as well. And certainly as things change and as we anticipate change, this document is live and we will continue to update as necessary. So the beginning few pages are specific to health and safety with our students. And in here, there are also some additional live links that families are able to note. The first document is the student exclusion scenario document. And this is a FAQ for our families to follow in case they are wondering what they should do with their child based on different symptoms and scenarios that may arise during this pandemic. And so that document is accessible for all of our families to view and is accessible, and we hope and ask that families will be following through with that document. In addition, our screening protocols are listed, and again, as in consultation, and Jen will speak to this as well, but as these items may change based on guidelines, this document will continue to be updated. And with that, I want to just, kind of jump down to some of the key pieces in here. As you are well aware, our students, if they are in our buildings or on transportation, will be needing to wear masks. And so those procedures are outlined in here as well, as long with the board policy that you will be reviewing tonight as well. And so this outlines, again, guidelines that we are to follow, and as more and more guidelines are updated, this document is updated. For example, as we received more guidance around what this would look like in a music class, we put that information here in the middle of the page. So as more and more information comes to us, this document will continue to be updated. Thinking on the operation side, we are required to take attendance, and so parents will actually be taking attendance for their children when students are participating in hybrid at home, and also for our distance learners. And so that will be a change from last spring, and instructions will be sent, but we are needing to ensure a robust attendance system, and so that will be tracked through Infinite Campus, and Sean Brandt will be working with our staff and families on that. There is also guidance along special education services that Amy Johnson and her team of coordinators are working on, really on a case-by-case situation. In addition, with our English language learners, they will also continue to receive services at home if they are electing distance learning or in our buildings. Childcare will also be provided because we are starting in the hybrid model, and it will be available to families who sign up. Their pre-registration is required, certainly, because we do have capacity limits. However, all 3 of our buildings will have childcare available, and again, based on capacity limits, we'll determine the number of students that can attend. There will also be preschool care available for our younger learners, both at this building and at Eagle View. Also, transportation is quickly working on identifying their routes, and they have been great in working with us in terms of once we split our kids into 2 different groups, they have been quickly working to finalize their routes, and those hopefully will be finalized by the end of this week in time for routes beginning next week. So we are continuing to encourage families, if they can, to provide their own transportation to allow us to adhere to guidelines of reduced capacity on our bus routes. In addition, we have our learning model overview in here, which Tony briefly covered as well. And again, as things change, things will be updated, but this is just a guide for families to reference. And then we broke down kind of the three differences and in what in-person, hybrid, and distance learning may look like. And certainly this is very fluid. Because we are starting in the hybrid model, that's where I'm going to focus some of my time on right now. And you'll see the visual here at the bottom of page 8 to try to explain where our Group A and Group B families will be. And really the biggest change is that on Wednesdays, those students will be flip-flopping. And so we have a calendar posted on our district website that has the A and the B laid out. So families last week, when they received their groups, they were able to go online and see that specific calendar as well. And at the end of the year, should we be in hybrid for the end of the year, the A and the B days do work out to be even. And so we're really asking, as our teachers plan for this, to really plan in 2-week increments, because in a 2-week increment, students will have equal time with their teachers in looking at the 2 different groups. And so thinking about this as learning at school and learning at home, it certainly looks different. It also looks different based on the level of students. And so, you know, today is day 1 of workshop, and so our teachers are in and starting to really talk across their collaborative teams on what those different things will look like and how instruction will look different at home versus at school. And so that is where our hybrid learning is at right now. Sean is really working to help provide our teachers with professional development to make sure that some of our tech programs are up and running. And we're looking at, we have some consistent programs across the district that will be used, and hopefully that will help our parents as well, because we know that that can be a barrier too. In addition, we also outlined our distance learning 2.0, and again, this is for families who are choosing distance learning right now, because we are not required to be in a distance learning model. However, all families may choose distance learning at any time, and so that was in the governor's most recent executive order. And so families may elect that option at any point. And so as a district, we have to be prepared for potential influx with our distance learning groups, you know, as time allows. And so we are working through those scenarios. Our family group assignments went out last Wednesday, and you know, currently Janelle has been keeping up with the changes. And so as families change their mind, and whether it's you know, for various reasons, whether they're requesting to be in distance learning, or perhaps they were a family that had signed up for distance learning and now they are wanting to be in the hybrid model. So we are trying to really work with our families on their request for changes. Certainly as the school year starts, those changes will become more difficult from a staffing perspective as well, and from capacity limits, as we are potentially allowing additional families into our building. So we'll be working with those families on a case-by-case basis. So in addition, we also have our technology support. All of our students, grades 2 through 12, will have a school district issued Chromebook that they will maintain, whether they are distance learning or participating in hybrid at home. They will have that device with them to access as needed. And then we have our FAQ here, and down here is just really different questions that have come in really to Janelle and our general COVID email line. And so specifically, as more questions arise, we will add them to this document. So at this time, I'd like to ask if you have any questions specific to our Return to School guide for parents and families.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Over to Jen.
Hi. So I have been working on a COVID preparedness plan for staff. There's some duplicate information in Marin's plan as in this plan. This one also kind of drills down to the level of what it looks like in each building, in the classrooms, what mitigation strategies are being implemented. We follow the guidelines of the Department of Health and Department of Education to put this into play. So it goes from the social distancing, the hand hygiene, the face coverings, what we will do to screen our students before they come into the building. It looks at what we will do if a child becomes symptomatic during the school day, how we will isolate them, how we will send them home. It goes through the different requirements for how long a student or a staff member needs to stay out of the building if they are sick or if someone in their home is sick, test positive, is exposed, those different things. So this plan has been made available to all staff. It's been sent out a couple of different times, and it is also available on a Google site for them. Like Marin's plan, it's continuously updated as new and changing guidelines become available. We've done training on this plan for all staff during workshop week. We've created a video so everybody is seeing that, and we will add that information to the same Google site where this plan is being housed so they can refer back to it at any point. It's also becoming part of the new hire onboarding process, so anyone who starts working in the district will be reviewing that video and plan to be familiar with the expectations of staff and students and families as we move into the school year. Are there any questions about the mitigation strategies or this document that
I think both of these are laid out very well and very detailed. I
Thank
think
you.
you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
First time.
Thank you. Okay, next we have the custodial contract.
Yeah, I just need to make a comment about Marin and Jen. They have been so good to work. I mean, they have done so much work. This is an incredible project that we've been going through. And Marin from the communications and student registration and just the operation side of things, and Jen on the health side. It's just been wonderful to have them on board. So they've done such a great job. Okay, so the custodial contract. So this is the last contract that expired on June 30, 2019. We had been meeting with them regularly up until February, and then the custodians decided they wanted to do some mediation. Excuse me. And so we scheduled mediation, and then the pandemic happened, and it kept getting postponed. Then we had it scheduled for the first part of June, I guess, and then our mediator was called up to the National Guard. So that stopped. So I finally just said, we need to try to get this done. So we just got together and kind of had a problem-solving session. It really wasn't traditional negotiations where you trade proposals. We just said, these are the issues. This is what the district's willing to do. Will you make some concessions? And we got it done in a week. So felt really good about that. So the settlement is very much in line with other contracts we've settled. As far as the medical insurance, the salary increases, the bereavement, the vacation, everything is in line with the other groups we have settled. And just ask for your approval on that contract tonight.
Off type of situation.
No, but if you recall, it's been a long time since we've talked about contracts, but we've grandfathered people with vacation, and we have a new vacation schedule. Our vacation was pretty generous, very generous, and so we've grandfathered current employees, and then new employees starting will have a less generous vacation schedule. That's the vacation. No, they still have vacation and sick.
From a high level, what were the major changes? That and compensation changes and then
Yep,
everything
the health insurance, you know, a small increase in the second year of the contract, bereavement, the tiered level that we have, we added a little bit of transfer language. With custodians, you know, I mean, a lot of our employee groups don't have to change buildings very often, but custodians are one of those groups that do. If we hire a new staff, you know, people have different strengths and weaknesses, and so we transfer people as needed. And so they wanted just a little bit of language about transfers, nothing that limits the district's ability to transfer and make job assignments. So I guess that really, we added a couple of compensation things. We added a certified pool operator pay, an additional slight stipend for that. And we added, we upgraded our boiler pay, our boiler license pay. We were very low. If you recall, I did a very detailed competitive analysis on all of our contracts, and we found we were low in a couple of areas. One was boiler license pay, but again, they have to become licensed to receive the pay. CPO, they have to be licensed to receive the pay. We also added a longevity step to make consistent with the other employee groups. My goal, these last 2 contracts, has really been consistency between groups. Because that's brought up all the time when we're negotiating, oh, they have that and they have that, and we're just trying to kind of get a standard approach to benefits. So this gets us closer to that goal.
What's going to be, how are you gonna handle the increased cleaning and things that's gonna be required?
Yeah, so that's the next agenda item, the COVID MOU for custodians. So I don't know if you want to approve the contract first, and then I can talk about that piece. But yeah, I'll go over that plan.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
So the cleaning, that is paramount, of course, as we return to school. And we needed to do a couple of things. One is get more custodial help for cleaning of common areas during the day. And we also needed to add people in the evenings to do thorough cleanings of our classrooms mainly. You know, teachers will be doing a lot of the, some cleaning during the day. You know, if their students leave, they'll be just taking a wipe and doing the light switch and the pencil sharpener and, you know, things that students touch frequently. But really the night we need to have some pretty thorough sanitizing going on. So what we're doing is we are moving some custodians to days to increase that level of cleaning of the bathrooms and the hallways and the handrails and those kinds of things. And kind of creating a new shift. It starts at 9 a.m. And right now, those employees would be on second shift, so they are currently getting an extra 75 cents an hour to work second shift. And we didn't really want to hurt them financially. You know, custodians are in, it's a very critical position right now. And so we're letting them keep that 75 cents an hour, so they're not going to lose out financially. And their shift will be 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And then custodians that remain at night, because we do need custodians at night as well. We gave them an extra 75 cents an hour because they don't get to work that day shift. And then what we plan to do is hire some part-time high school workers. I think things went out on social media today, so we'll have high school workers that work from 3:30 to 7:30 every day. The number varies by building, and they'll be doing the surface cleaning and maybe some mopping. They won't be doing like the vacuuming or some of the scrubbing and things like that. So they won't be doing the full job of a custodian. Then we'll have the night custodians to provide them work direction, but also do the regular custodial type cleaning. So that's our plan to make sure we have enough custodians. And, you know, the issues that we have been some of the quarantining. You know, if someone has to quarantine, we lose them for 2 weeks. And there's been a lot of that this summer in quite a few different areas. So we have to be able to find people to clean. I fully expect at some point I'll probably be cleaning. You know, we need to keep our buildings clean. That is a priority. So we're all going to have to pitch in and help in that respect. But this MOU is meant to, like I said, you know, move some people on days by seniority, keep the people on nights, give them some extra compensation to stay on nights, and then hire some of these high school helpers to help.
So from an FTE standpoint, are we, obviously with the high schoolers, that'll be an additional, but from a,
Yep.
otherwise it's about the same?
Yep, it's the same, yep. And we do have some coronavirus relief funds. We've actually got several pots of money now. It's kind of getting hard to keep it all straight, but we'll be able to pay for the additional high school helpers and the additional compensation for custodians through those CRF funds that we are required to spend by December 30th, 2020. But then we also have some CARES money that we can use to pay for it beyond December 30th, 2020. So we've got some federal funds that we're able to use to help pay for some of these things. Any other questions on the MOU?
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the custodial COVID MOU?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, the next item is approval of substitute and temporary employee rates of pay.
Yes, so you see we have updated, we typically do that in the August meeting. We didn't see it necessary to change our teacher compensation for substitutes, but we did change most of our hourly compensation. Again, substitutes are a little bit hard to find, and we were especially concerned about our bus drivers and our custodians to make sure we, are paying them and can attract attract them, and so we can keep them as subs. So just updating our substitute rate of pay. I don't see, I even see next year, if, depending on the status of the pandemic, we also increased the nurses quite significantly, as you can see. Probably holding on these for a while, but I do feel it's necessary, and the managers of these people feel it's necessary to try to increase that to try to attract and retain good subs.
Okay, get a motion to approve the substitute and temporary employee rates of pay.
So
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next is approval of the 808 COVID-19 face covering policy.
Yes, so with the governor's executive order requiring face coverings, and the safe return to school guidance, we are required to have a policy or procedure for face coverings for our staff and our students. And while a board-approved policy is optional, I know Jen and I feel, and I think the principals feel as well, that a policy will have a little bit more meat behind it. Certainly there will be people that don't like the face coverings, and we are dealing with those on a case-by-case basis, but it does help, I think, to have that board support for the face covering and our rules around it. We are requiring medical documentation if someone says they cannot wear a face mask. It's not a face mask or a shield, it's a face mask. And if you can't wear a face mask, then it's a shield. So we are requiring medical documentation for that, and we have received some already. I know for staff, I've worked on several staff that have medical conditions that preclude them from wearing a face mask, but then they wear a face shield. So again, we'd appreciate that support as we deal with these individual cases that arise.
Do they wear a face mask or shield the whole time they're providing instruction in the front of the room?
No, so teachers and educators don't always have to wear a face mask, face mask. They can wear a shield when a mask would prevent them from providing good educational services. So teachers do not have to wear a mask all the time, but then they're required to keep their distance. And especially, I think that's true of elementary, and as well as we have like speech pathologists, special ed pairs that are working with students with special needs and need to be able to see that face and the lips move. So we make exceptions for those and are providing the face shields in those situations, as well as appropriate PPE if they're giving direct services to students. We have gowns and gloves and masks and shields, so they'll be well taken care of on the PPE side.
Any other questions? Could I get a motion to approve the face covering policy?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Now we have approval of the 522 Title IX Sex Non-Discrimination Policy, Grievance Procedures and Process.
Yeah, this is another one that we really need to have approved right away. Title IX went through some pretty major change, and the changes were effective August 14th. And I've received several trainings on it. When you think of Title IX, you think of the sports, and the male and female sports, but this really is so much more. It really defines what sexual harassment is and lays out a very detailed procedure and process and rights for both the accused and the accuser, and a process that we have to go through to investigate and provide support to both the accused and the accuser, and so forth. So it's something brand new, I think, to begin with. If we have a situation like this, I would invite our attorneys in to do the investigation because it's so new. But right now, I would be the Title IX coordinator for the district, and there's also other roles that we have to fill. There's a investigator, which right now we'll probably use a staff attorney, and there's a decision maker. There's a backup Title IX coordinator, and so I'll be defining all of those. You'll even, at some point, I think, see a section on our website down below that's just for Title IX. Many posting requirements of our training materials, training requirements, and we're just now, getting into that. It's kind of bad timing with the pandemic and everything that's going on. Not exactly great timing to do all of this, but we'll get it done as quickly as we can and comply with the new requirements.
Any questions? Could I get a motion to approve the Title IX Sex Non-Discrimination Policy?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay. Now, the next one is to rescind the resolution regarding the fund balance transfer for community services.
Yeah, I'll explain these next two together. So the last board meeting, you approved a transfer of $350,000 from the LTFM fund into community ed to make up for the lost revenue for school-age childcare and preschool. However, since then, we received some CARES funding from the county, from Scott County. We received $63,000 approximately, and that could only be used for two things. One is for technology, and the second is for school-age care of critical workers. So we did have a few technology type expenditures back, for distance learning through June 30th. And so I used part of it for that, but the remainder I used it for school-age childcare. And that meant that we could lower the transfer from the LTFM funds into community services, and I think that's a really good thing to do. So that's why we're rescinding the earlier one and repassing the new one.
Okay, could I have a motion to rescind the resolution regarding the fund balance transfer for community services?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have a resolution that Denny will read.
I'll speak to this.
Yeah, so this is just basically a reduced amount from the $350,000 to $292,140.11. Basically, that's the remaining funds after paying for the technology purchases from Scott County.
Basically, it makes up the extra money that we got from.
Yes, from the county, yep.
Okay, I'll this time entertain a motion to consider the resolution regarding fund balance transfer from community services.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to consider the following resolution. Whereas Minnesota laws allow for the fiscal 2020-2021 only school district to transfer any funds not already assigned to or encumbered by staff salary and benefits or otherwise encumbered by federal law from any accounts or operating fund to the undersigned balance in any other operating fund. The transfer does not increase state and obligations to the district or result in additional property tax authority. A transfer is limited to the operating funds of a district. A school board must approve a fund transfer by respective fiscal year reporting deadline. A district must maintain accounting records for the purposes of this section that are sufficient to document both the specific funds transferred and the use of those funds. Such accounting records are subject to auditor review. Any executions of this flexibility must not interfere with or jeopardize funding per federal requirements. Any transfer must not interfere with the equitable delivery of distance learning or social distance models. Whereas the School Board of New Prague Area Schools Independent School District 721 has determined that the criteria identified have been satisfied for a fund transfer pursuant to the Minnesota statutes. Whereas the School Board of Independent School District 721 has reviewed and approved the attached request for fund transfer from LTFM Fund 01, Fund Balance to Community Services Fund 04, Restricted Fund Balance in the amount of $292,140.11. Therefore, be resolved that the School Board of Independent School District 721 authorizes the school district administration to submit the attached request for fund transfer. How do you vote on this resolution, Leo?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Dennis, yes. Item passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay, and next item is approval of the move of the November board meeting dates. So this is because of Rice County.
You
Canvass-
thought you were
canvassing.
done.
The canvassing piece, I think.
Wait, yeah, I wasn't thinking I'd speak to that. Yeah, so the Rice County election. Help me. Okay. Come up here. I'm not sure I'm gonna explain it better than
They
her,
need,
so
they
let's
need
do
more
it.
time to canvass
Yes,
the
to
vote,
canvass the
so
votes,
we
because
have to
the,
delay it.
yes.
Yeah, because of the additional, they need to count 7 absentee ballots 7 days after the general election because of the increased number of mail-in ballots that there will be. So they need to make sure that they clear the mail, and they need an additional 7 days. So with that, we would not get because they'll be counting the absentee ballots until business closes on Tuesday, November 10th. Wednesday, November 11th is a holiday for them. So the earliest they can provide our abstract would be 1 o'clock on Thursday, November 12th. And our board meeting was scheduled for the 9th, I believe. I didn't write that down. But there are 5 Mondays in November. So if we can just move everything back 1 week so that our meetings are November 30th and then, sorry, I wrote it down back there. I didn't have, and I don't have the calendar in front of me. So it'd be November 30th would be the business meeting, and then the meeting to count the votes would actually be the 3rd Monday.
The 16th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In November. Sorry.
But both meetings would move, they just basically move 1 week.
Correct.
up.
So
Okay.
instead of the 9th of November, we'd go the 16th. Instead of the 23rd, we'd go the 30th.
Correct.
Is this the only county that we're gonna have an issue with? Scott and LeSueur are fine?
The other ones haven't contacted us.
The other one, yeah, Rice County is the only one that sent me anything. I am guessing that it's across the state, but nobody else has said anything. So,
As long as we're done with the meeting before the Vikings start at 7:20, it's fine.
yeah.
God help us if they're not.
Oh, didn't you hear? They're moving the football season to spring.
I'll make a motion to approve the movement of the November board meeting.
I'll
dates.
second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, now the next item is reviewing our committee assignments. Because we have, Matt is new and he doesn't have any committees yet.
Can have all of them.
You want to give up, he indicated he might be interested
Yeah, is there
in
any that you wanna give up?
joint
'Cause-
powers.
So, can I just ask one question? here?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the parent advisory committees, are they gonna be done by Zoom or are they gonna be done in person or what's the plan?
know,
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't know if I could answer that. I'd have to ask the respective principals. I don't know if that's been discussed yet. I would say that they may attempt to do those via Zoom or Google Meets, just because we are being very, very careful about who we bring into the buildings.
Well, because some of the elementary ones, there can be a lot of parents at them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
And I don't want to discourage parents to not attend it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I think that's something we definitely can talk to our principals at the next principals meeting and see what their thoughts were, but probably encourage them to hold them via virtual. And then that way, nobody will feel bad about maybe not coming or showing up if they're concerned about being in a large group, which again, we're being very, very careful about bringing anyone into the buildings, especially when kids are there.
well, and that's the other thing is you'd have all of these strange people that aren't in that building every day.
Yep.
So,
That's a great
How about
point.
How about if we would
More
table this
exposure.
till the next meeting?
sure. Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
can you find that out before the next meeting?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
I can find that out and even send it out this Friday in the superintendent's update, just what the principals are thinking.
Well, and I think the high school no longer does parent advisory committee meetings.
They do their book meeting.
Yeah,
It's a book club meeting.
and that has been virtual already.
She wasn't here.
Yes,
For any
no,
of this?
this was done the first of the year.
Oh,
Okay, when we only had 6 board
Okay.
members.
We're only
And s-
revisiting. it
And I think
because
some of
the-
these committees are by virtue of our offices, I think, like executive and
Right.
negotiations.
Yeah, so those.
And I know,
don't-
is
but-
budget too, the chair, vice chair? I think. Yeah. Oh, well, if it isn't, well,
I mean, I'll take what,
Gee, we both can't give up budget.
you can have it.
And then Matt will get it for both of us.
yeah,
Just kidding.
you're right.
You've got the Matt has the accounting background, so
So I take one of those spots then?
you can have my spot.
Okay.
Mark, could you use any help on joint powers?
Or do you want me to take that one?
Want to think about it?
I mean, it's gonna be revisited January 1st again, so,
I don't mind it, I guess.
okay. And do you want me to take the special education PAC?
Yes.
That's actually, she's a substitute.
Yeah, I'm a
Oh, you
sub
are?
on there, yeah,
Danny?
Okay,
yeah. But
And I'd like to stay on it because it is very closely associated with Southwest Metro.
yeah.
fair enough.
Do we need a substitute on the Southwest Metro?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
We
okay.
do need a sub, and the person who subs should be the sub for, I'm just gonna say this, for our PAC meeting here, because they coincide very close. Cause I was, past life here, I was Denny's sub on both.
So you're saying,
Yeah,
on Southwest Metro and.
Southwest
Southwest
Metro and special
And
ed.
special ed, yep.
Okay, sounds good.
So then we'll just,
And we'll make the other ones,
the parent advisory committees after we hear back from
Yeah.
Correct.
Tony. Okay, so,
I'll make
Any-
a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Just a real quick comment, and I was gonna say it, Danny, before you so quickly adjourned, but
That was next on the agenda.
Time is up.
Sandy was so nice to pick out Marin and Jenny, and they are doing an amazing job, as are many other people. And in Tim's absence, and I know Sandy won't like this, but her work has just been amazing. And there's no better person in the position of business manager and HR than Sandy.
Yeah, and then she gets Title IX besides, too. so.
Yeah, but again, lots and lots of people have been working. And again, in Tim's absence, I just want you folks to know that lots of people have been doing a lot of great work, but Sandy's direction and leadership is simply outstanding.